Hello guys and welcome back to Tuesday's vlog. By my god, it does not half come round quick this, does it? It doesn't feel like 2 seconds since I was saying I'll catch you on Tuesday. There's a full weekend of your life gone. Anyways, loads in. I've got a few people hanging around here. May get them in film, may not. Just quickly show you what we've got in. Quite a bit today, so this is going to be a short intro. Obviously, I have seen that some people have commented on last week's video. I've still got to upload the second half. They come up as like a brief preview, like that big. I can read the first few lines of it. But obviously, if I click on it to read the whole message, I've then got to sit and reply. And I haven't had time this weekend. I've had both the kids and both the dogs on my own all weekend. My partner's been working again. So what I tend to do is just wait until, which is very rare for me. So I've got a good hour or two, which I was going to do the night, but I'm having to run through to Newcastle way to pick a TV up for my son's birthday. And then obviously once I read the message properly, I then reply. Otherwise it looks rude the fact that I've read it and then not replied. So I only sit there once I have time to sit down and read and reply to all the messages. As you know, I always do reply, but there has been a bit of a delay lately. I am aware it's going back nearly 10 days, but I will get on top of them shortly, hopefully by the time this video is uploaded this coming Friday. So anyways, I hope you like the Mondeo. You've seen that. Done a few jobs to the A6, which I'll show you on a separate video. Again, guys, I know a lot of you say you don't involve social media, but I have. Even if you just mention to one of your friends who has got it, like a family member, for instance, you know, like your wife or a son or a daughter. I know if you don't have it, you can keep up to date with things I'm doing on the Car Addict Garage Northeast Facebook page. On there, I put regular updates, photos, and little bits that I'm doing. You know, like I've done a few jobs on the Audi, which I'll tell you. I've cleaned the DVD-ROM out for the sat-nav. That's all been cleaned. That's working perfectly now. There's the LED number plates I've done on it. A few other bits and bobs, as well as on the Mondeo. That's getting some jobs done, which I'll be showing you on a separate video. So I'll probably have it here this week. But again, like I say, I know a lot of you say you don't deal with it or whatever, but if you just get somebody who does deal with it to go on, enter the Car Garage Northeast onto their Facebook, and you can have a look through and see what's going on. It's nothing interesting really, but it's just a little bit more to the channel than these videos, which I can't always get on top of and give immediate replies for. So anyways, there's somebody else just turned up, a locksmith, to look at this caddy van. So I'm going to end this bit here and then I'll re-put it in once everyone's kind of settled down, because there's like another 2 people out there for us to go walk around filming. So I was going to make this all into one to start showing you around what's going on, but there's too much now. So I'll catch you soon, guys. And I've got the keys for that van, I think, in my pocket, what he's coming to look at. Catch you soon. Hello guys and welcome back to Tuesday. It's just been absolutely manic in here. There's been so many people. There's even the guy who does a bit of the maintenance on the land next to her. He's even here cutting the hedges and stuff. It's just been crazy. Anyways, this BMW, there's a few cars in which I'm going to go around and show you. We're in a BMW 320i, a petrol one. Avoid these things. The diesels aren't the best. Once you do the chains on them, they're alright. The N47, you've all heard of them, but the petrol ones are horrifically unreliable and expensive to repair, but I'll go through why shortly. I'm just currently on now. It's in for MOT and the tyre pressure warning light was on, and this is a 2012. It's borderline on the years where it's pass or fail, but it just simply needed reset because they had a puncture. But I'm just sitting doing the usual nonsense. I want to check the oil that isn't a dipstick. So there you go. I've had to sit and wait 10 minutes for us to tell us that the oil's okay. There's what's the word, moving forward with technology for you. So when we go through here, I'll switch it over. Again, for the tyre pressure monitoring, you just go to there and you press reset and you think, oh, there we go, reset. No, you've got to go, you know, I don't know why they have to make these things so awkward. You've got to go through, press it once, then second time, hold it, then a little box of a tick comes on, then press it again. I'm using that button on the end of the stalk, by the way. Just to be awkward, but there you go. So this is in for MOT. I'm just going to jump out. I'll just quickly show you underneath. What I was saying with these, a direct injection, and these cats here cost an absolute fortune. There's sensors galore. There's one up here. You've got a heat sensor here, which this is a petrol, by the way, not a diesel. And you've got a NOx sensor down here, and these things cost a fortune because they go way up there, but there's a little module and you can't replace them. That all one unit, and they cost a fortune. And like I showed you on that little Toyota the other day, direct injection petrols, always dirty, is a diesel. So again, back subframes on these, once you get them coated, they're alright, but this one's not doing too bad. Upgraded the bottom arms on them, they're nice now, like a galvanised plastic tank. And alright car these, but to be honest, the ones that you want are the 320Ds or down at Stakeford tyres. I'm not dissing the car, but you know, for the average person, the 2 litre diesels are ones to watch for the timing timing chains. They're quite problematic. So for me, if I had one of these, it would definitely be a 330D or a 335D. 320D, yes, if it's been looked after and the timing chain's done. Like I've said, I've seen them with 300,000 and 400,000 mile, no problems whatsoever, if they're looked after. But you just don't know when you're buying second hand if it has been looked after. So this is in for MOT. Reset that the tyre pressure monitoring light. The oil's been checked by the computer because it hasn't got a dipstick, and that the main reason for that was because somebody had tyre repaired, not by us, not by Stakeford Tyres either, but it was repaired quite near the edge. That's within limits, so don't panic. And the light just simply hadn't been reset correctly, and it has had a bit of a repair done to this rim somewhere, which I've seen there. But again, for the test, that's fine, it's been done appropriately. This Focus, Lenny, I just want to say thanks for bringing it in. I know he watches the channel. He's getting himself a good car here, 07 plate Focus, but one difference about these is it's got the boot on the back. It's a saloon. I haven't seen one of these things for years. Hang on to this, it'll probably become a rarity because the Mark 1 Focus is certainly on the decline now. I would say in the next 5 years or so, pick up a tidy Mark 2 Focus, which is pretty much the same car. Not bad at all. I quite like this, just the fact you don't see them anymore. And it's the gear, so that it has actually got the nice spec in it, which is nice to see. The nice velour seats, not heated or nothing, but you've got cruise control, which is rare for these. You've got all obviously the legendary heated windscreen, the nice bit of wood, the Sony sound system, which are good in these. You know, being the gear, you get all the nice spec on it, automatic lights and wipers. And these normally rust quite badly, and apart from a little bit there, this isn't doing too bad. Low miles, 70,000, and this is the engine you want. The 1600 Z-Tech, absolutely bulletproof. This is just in for a service, so it's getting, just chuck them in the bin there. NGK, spark plugs, oil and filter, and the air filter done. I haven't really got time to show. I'm just busy putting the new plugs in there now. Get them tightened up, do the air filter, do the oil and filter, and give it a full check underneath. I would have put this car on the lift and showed you, but I am simply running out of time. I need to do that, so I'm getting onto this, which I want to show you, which is the door card off the Caddy, which we've had stripped down. I'm reluctant to even go near this van in case I lock the keys in it. So it's had all the door cards stripped down. It's got two broke. Obviously, you've got a cable that operates your interior handles, and you've got another cable that operates your exterior handles. And this van is my partner's dad's van, and it actually had to pull this whole bulkhead out the other week because he left the key in the van. Both door handles from the outside don't work, and there was no way of getting in. It's the first time he's even had that. If there is anybody, again here at CC Locksmiths, highly recommend them. There's their contact details. He's called Lee, spot on guy, highly recommend using them. We use them all the time for our key and lock work. So really all this actually needs is, we thought it needed the whole unit, handles and everything. It just needs two cables for the exterior door handles, and we're getting those from the main dealer, and they're not actually that expensive, so happy days. So he's coming back tomorrow when they're delivered to have them fitted, but for now we're just having to make do with opening the door, because I'm going to send this van out the night, so he's got it to use. You just simply pull this little cable in here, somehow, get your finger in, there we go, and that's how we'll get in. So it's just getting left like this for the night, but yeah, this will be back in tomorrow's vlog, getting the new cables fitted, which I'll show you from the dealer. So there we go. I'm even just contemplating, just checking that the window is open. In case you're wondering how you do get into it, you've got to use the key, you hold the unlock button, and it brings the electric windows down. Otherwise you can't actually get in. So yeah, I suppose down to a little bit of neglect from the owner, really, because if that was me, I would have had it sorted sooner rather than later. Otherwise inevitably you will end up locking the keys in. Got this Qashqai. Everybody knows, it's on all the videos now about how often these things break on them. So if you do own a Qashqai, just be very careful with the boot handles, because this was £106 for this little piece here, and that's just the cover for it. So just go easy if you've got one. With this, it's quite lucky. With it being a black car, it comes black and it kind of just matches in. So it's unlucky if you've got a red car, blue car, white car. But if you've got a black one, happy days. But yeah, £106 for this bit of plastic. And Kev's been fitting this. It's his own car, he's just had a go at it. And it seemed quite complicated the way you've got to do some bolts through the garden food, haven't they? You got to take the interior panel off. You think that they're easy, but they're not. Well, they are easy to an extent, but it's not as simple as just popping it on. You've got to take the interior door card off. Is that it open? There we go. So obviously you've got to take all the interior door card off to get to it, to change it. And it comes, I mean, does it come with all that in, does it? Yeah. So even for £106, you don't even get none of the governors. You don't even get none of the buttons. I thought for normally for that kind of money, you get the whole lot. So Nissan know this is a problem. It has been for over 10 years. This is a well-known problem. And they're still charging ridiculous money and not even modifying them. So yeah, that's not good from Nissan, ripping people off on a well-known fault. Over to this Hyundai. Right, so I've done the plugs on this. I've drained out as much oil as I could. I think somebody spilt oil into there because there's no leaks whatsoever on this. So I drained it off with the oil pump, but still a little bit went down. I even started up without the spark plugs in just to get any oil out in case of a hydraulic effect. But yeah, we've certainly got, I don't know if you can see that on camera, we've got smoke effect in here. So, but luckily it's running fine. Obviously, there's only so much you can do. So they're the new plugs, new air filter. Going to get on and do the oil. But yeah, I think somebody's just spilt the oil when they've been topping it up because there's no other signs of it leaking. I forgot to mention this Qashqai was in for MOT as well, but nothing really on this. It's in canny nick, this one. Again, remember our number plates, what I told you? Like the Jeep and everything. What else would I have? The other car? LR, London car. So I bet you, I haven't even looked under this one. There's no rust. Don't take that as gospel, because it doesn't mean that this car couldn't have been registered in London in 2012 when it was new and spent its whole life up in Scotland. But as a rule of thumb, if you can get a number plate with an L at the beginning for London and you know it's not spent its time down there, it has actually fared. See how good these fare compared to that one I showed you the other day, which was actually a 13 plate, which was newer. So it just shows you, get a car that spent the majority of its life in London. Yeah, it might not do the clutch no good and things like that or whatever, but that's an automatic. But it does go to prove a point. If you get a car and it's got S on the number plate, unfortunately, yes, I know my A6 has, hence there is little bits here and there on it. But yeah, if you want to spend considerable money on a car what you want, go for the number plates down south, especially London ones, where they've been kept in the city most of their life. A little tip, but like I've said, it does not mean you probably get an S registered car, which was registered in Scotland, spent its life in London. It's not a rule of thumb, but it's a good way to work it. So that's it. That's all I'm going to. I'll quickly show you this Hyundai. I'll quickly show you this, and I'll probably it up for today. Yeah, this old girl's getting pretty hard up, but do you know what it is? These little Hyundai gets, and what's the Kia called? The Picanto. If you can get one of these tidy with low miles on, hold on to it, because it's going to be one of the next cars that just disappear. Because at the moment, guess who's hammering these things? This Uber Eats, Uber this, what do you call it? All that stuff, delivering pizzas and bloody Starbucks and God knows what. All these, they're just cheap, disposable cars. If they've got a year's test on, they're just getting driven into the ground until they blow up. The Kia Picantos and the Hyundai Gets, they really are going to become a rarity. And do you know what it is? In 10 years' time, I'll still say these are a good car. They were a good car when they were new, and they still are now. Yes, if you don't look after them, this happens and all the rest of it. But do you know what it is? They're just a canny little car. And I think I don't know why I quite like the Hyundai over the Picanto. I just think it looks a little bit more sort of masculine than the Picanto does. Looks more feminine for like a woman, But yeah, these are definitely going to be something of a rarity, I would say, in the next 5 years. That already are disappearing into the scrap yards every day. But yeah, especially this one, because This one is the flying machine. This is the 1400 GSI, and actually it does hold the road very well, and it does bomb along. So there we go. This has only just been in to get a seal done on this back door. I can't show you because my dad's locked it, but nothing interesting. And he wanted it serviced, but we said we haven't got time today to do that. So the van, that's going back shortly. I'm going to make sure Barry gets that back, so he's got it for running the shop. It'll give me a good opportunity to get out of work for half an hour. I might do a little video up there at the shop, actually. Do you know what it is I might do? Unless everybody comes out straight in my face, I'll do a little shop and show you where my partner works. And if anybody lives in the local area, call in, say hello to Holly, and obviously so you watch Dan's channel. But what I am going to do is they get these bloody lovely sandwiches delivered from, is it Gibbard's or somewhere like that, some local bakers, and they're lovely. So I'm going to get up there and be a pig and get myself a nice cheese savoury sandwich, bottle of pop, put a few lottery tickets on. I always like to support their shop. Obviously they come to bring all their vehicles to the garage, so when I go to that shop, out of courtesy, basically, I'm running the van back for him for free, and I ain't even making any money because it's Lee who's doing the lock job. By the way, guys, we do that, but as you can see, we're so busy, I haven't got time for pulling door cards apart, and we didn't know what it was. Even Lee, as a locksmith, was a bit like, ooh, this is weird. Never come across this before with two cables snapped. So yeah, if I'm up there at the shop, I'll give a quick video outside. I might not, just don't hold on it, guys. But if I do, just so you know where she works, and just so you know if you want to support her shop, as well as if people support my garage, feel free to call in, buy us a can of pop, whatever. Just say Dan sent you to Holly. Bearing in mind, just, you know how Holly looks like. Our sister does look quite similar to her, just in case you say it the wrong person. But nevertheless, say Dan sent you, or my dad, Barry. They'll know who you're talking about. So yeah, I'm getting blinded off the sun here. So I'm just going to get on now, have a coffee, get this focus up, drain the oil, and that'll be it. I might catch you when I'm down there at Morpeth dropping the van off. But for now, I'll leave that there, and I'll catch you on Wednesday's vlog. Because tonight, like I've said, I want to get away early. I think what I'm going to do I was going to take the Mondeo, but I already had that up at Costco's yesterday to get some premium diesel in it and do a bit of shopping. I might run the A6 up tonight, because like I say, it's my son's birthday on the 1st of November, and I've just getting him up. Actually, it's my fault. I stole his telly off him in April when the caravanning season started in his room, which rarely got used, and it stopped in the caravan. I said to Holly, for his birthday we'll get him another telly, and at the minute it's the Amazon offer day today and tomorrow, and you can get a 4K Amazon TV stick for I think 30 quid, and that's this top of the range little portable Samsung telly, which are good quality. Somebody's only wanting 20 quid for it. So I'm just going to have a drive down there, pick that up, nip to Costco's, return some shirts that I bought because there's no changing rooms there, so I just bought different sizes, and while I'm there I'll fill the A6 up with premium diesel, because remember, next weekend, the weekend after, we've got the safari, and I will do some filming for that, guys. I hope if you aren't interested, don't watch it, but I just thought I'll add it in as part of the road trip for the A6. I'll do a quick video in the morning when I'll probably look like a zombie getting up, and it's a full drive down there, have the day there, then back to Blackpool, and I'll do a bit of filming around Blackpool if there's any interesting vehicles or whatever we're doing. Top of the tower, we're actually doing that, top of the tower. What else are we doing? Not the Waxworks, Sea Life Centre, and some Peter Rabbit thing. So yeah, I might do a bit of filming of that. I might make the last family holiday filming, but we're just stopping at a travel lodge, not taking the caravan, and making it a bit of a road trip. Obviously with me driving, I might get Holly to do a bit of filming or something like that. So yeah, anyways, enough babble. I'll catch you later, guys. Bye. Right, guys, I thought I would just end off Tuesday's vlog. Why not? I've got plenty of time to use up if I do a 2-part week. First up, no, I didn't get round to filming at Holly's shop. I may do that tomorrow, because I've got to go back and collect the van tomorrow dinner time, or run it back, one of the two. But a development anyways, a few things have happened because of my mistake, because we were actually a car down today, which was meant to be in for MOT, but I booked it in on the 11th of October today instead of the 11th of November next month. So my bad there, no harm done. Anyways, we're just walking home with the dogs. I'm finishing a bit earlier. I'll just swing it round and just show you. We're getting a few of the lovely autumn colours on the trees over there. This has been the first time in about 3 weeks, I've been able to walk home through the woods because with all the rain we've had, it's just simply impassable, and I've survived relatively okay. And yes, back to trousers and not liking it. So yeah, some of the crops are already starting to grow. I'm not a farmer, so I can't tell you anything about that. But he's just seen something there. Hunter, here. Hunter, sit. Sit. Good boy. He's certainly coming along with his training. So anyways, I just thought I'd add a little bit in here. Number one development, when Holly ran us back from the shop, I had an idea. I thought I need to get rid of this ML off the drive before they start spreading salt, because I really don't want to have to drive it to storage if they start doing that. So I rang up my mate. I'm not going to show. I've took some pictures of it in storage. I may show that on my Facebook page, Cardiff Garage Northeast on Facebook, but I'm not recording there clearly because it's somebody else's property where people store stuff. It's a garage as well, but I may put a picture, cover a few wedges up with vehicles nearby. So anyways, sad times. Took the ML away. That's it in storage. So like I mentioned, I'm keeping the caravan on the drive, as you'll have seen when I did the Mondeo reveal this year, just purely in case the boiler goes off. It means I've got to back up the caravan on the drive. If we're getting into any silly nonsense about prices and God knows what going up, I've got the caravan just to keep warm, just in case, just as a backup. But mainly, we don't have a garage, it's converted, so therefore it's good storage for over the winter. Plus I can keep an eye on it, run the electric through it, keep the dehumidifier going, keep the battery charged, keep an eye on damp and stuff like that. So that's that done. As for the ML, with that over there, I've left the battery disconnected, but the door's locked without the alarm. But what I have got, which I forgot to show, I've got a little solar charger. So I've connected that to the battery and put it on the dash. So hopefully that should keep the battery topped up to where it needs to be. I'm going to go back in a month, try turning it over. If it's completely dead to the world, I'll charge the battery fully, and then I'll simply disconnect the battery. But I ideally don't want the battery being disconnected in case of an emergency that the car needs to be moved, because I left John the keys. So anyways, that's the ML off the road and away. But what I did do on the way back, I mentioned I've acquired some more storage. The lady who actually used to own the ML. And I actually thought, what a nice thing to do on my way across to the storage area, to call in with the ML, let her see it as a sweetener, and have a look at the storage. And it's a 2-minute walk. But no, actually, no, it's not. It's a 2-minute drive, 10-15 minute walk from where I live. It's an outdoor garage, and that is like the roof is like a see-through PVC. So that's not ideal for letting in UV. Whether or not it filters out UV or not, I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. Probably doesn't, so it's not ideal in that sense. But what it is perfect for is winter storage. But obviously it's not heated. It's just a concrete framed building, whatever you want to class it as, with a plastic see-through roof. And but it's full electric. It's even got an electric up and down door. And the lady doesn't even want any money from me, free of charge, she said. So happy days. Obviously the ZX is sorted for this year. I still would like to have that garage back what I've got for next year if the guy keeps his tenancy up. But if he doesn't, at least now I know I've got a good backup for the ZX. The only downside is there's 2 side windows on the garage, which can be clearly looked through to see what's in. So clearly nothing of any high value is going to go in there. But what it does give us the opportunity to do is to get myself a nice winter project. Also, obviously, it's limited to 4.2 metres maximum length, so it can't be a big vehicle. But just means now if something comes up, and I don't want to have to tax it or MOT it immediately, or I don't want to use it through the winter, or it's to a degree non-runner, I've got storage, and it's free, and it's secure, and it's got electric. Happy days. So I might show you that. Again, I've got pictures. I may put it on my Facebook page. But yeah, so I've acquired some free parking. So yeah, we'll see. I might put it up as on my Facebook, but we'll see what happens for now. I'll catch you later, guys. I'm going to go across now, like I've mentioned, and pick up Charlie's TV from over there, Durham way, somewhere like that anyway. Fill the A6 up with diesel, ready for going down to the safari, and nip to Costco's to return a few bits and bobs. So I'll catch you tomorrow on Wednesday's vlog. Hello and welcome back to Wednesday's vlog. I'm just going to keep this one pretty short today, just mainly to keep the main track of the whole week down to a bit more of a minimum, because as you know, it's now Wednesday and I still haven't got the second part of last week's vlog uploaded. Just haven't had time. As I've mentioned to you last night, I was out picking stuff up and taking the car to storage and whatnot. So just quickly, what's in? We've got, probably from this angle, a lot of yous will not even know what it is. I bet you. What kind of car's that? Yeah, it's a Jeep Cherokee. The same kind of car as what I had. You all knew my Jeep Cherokee. But what's the word? I can't even put it into words. A downpour from the original Cherokee. Everybody used to know what a Jeep Cherokee was. A worldwide figure of a car. And this is the new Jeep Cherokee. And to me, it looks nothing more than a Suzuki or something. It's got the Jeep badge on it. In fact, with the bonnet up, you can't even see the definitive Jeep badge. So, yeah. And it gets a little bit worse because, obviously, I'll show you the filters. What engine do you think's in a Jeep? Nice big 3 litre or something? No, it's a Fiat 2.2 engine. Pretty much the same as what all the Vauxhalls use. There's the filters for it. Says it all, doesn't it? Fiat. And then you have a look underneath, and you'd expect to see nice, great big diffs and God knows what for them to be good off-road, but nah. Unfortunately, they've moved now to soft-roaders. They used to be proper off-roaders, you know, like big rear axles and big props and stuff, and now are using Fiat engines and basically nothing more than, what, a Kia Sportage, Toyota RAV4. That's really all that there are now, you know. So you have the Jeep badge and it says 4.4 on the back, which there are, but one good point I'll give them, proper exhausts, dual exhausts. But while we're on the subject of exhausts, we've both just looked at this and it looks like something that was bodged together from flipping God knows where. I mean, that to me, I was looking at that going, that can't be standard. You can see like it's like a piece of exhaust pipe that's just been cut and welded right there. But that must be the original Jeep or Fiat number. Not really high quality. I mean, it does the job. Don't get us wrong, it's sturdy. But it doesn't look like a dealer part. So yeah, I'll just show you briefly the engine, which we've all seen. It's pretty much the same as the 2 litre that's in the Vauxhall range, but this is a 2.2, 200 brake horsepower one. Oil filters in these are an absolute nightmare on them. It's exactly the same as the Insignias and whatnot. It's buried up there. I don't even know if you can see it on the camera. You probably can't. That's it, just there, the tip of it. There. So the usual nonsense with that. Again, these need a specific oil, which again is your 530 Fiat 9.55535-GS1. That's what it needs to be. So again, having to use Fiat oils and Jeeps and stuff like that, it just doesn't come across well. This is the way the wheels should have looked on my Cherokee originally. They were like a polished silver, but they were like diamond cut. But yeah, what's your opinions, guys? I know things happen for a reason. This will be due to, well, unfortunately, public demand, crash safety, all the rest of it, but I don't know. I think they could have made it look a bit more retro to put the Cherokee badge on it. I'll show you it later on when it's down, but it shows absolutely no resemblance to the original, what I call Jeep Cherokees whatsoever. I don't know why they didn't just give it another name and call it something else, and it would be a lot more acceptable. But to put the Cherokee badge on it, to me, they've not done themselves any favours. And to go using a Fiat engine, you know, there's plenty of good diesel engines out there. We all know the history of the Fiat engines anyway, which aren't never good and always the most. Fiat is something, and I apologise to anybody out there who like Italian cars. That's totally fine. Alfa Romeos, Fiats, that's fine. That's your choice. But do you know what? You'll all ask the question, and I have been meaning to do this. A guy, Chris Jackson, kept saying to us, do a video on your history of your cars. People would enjoy it. I am considering doing it through the winter when there's not much going on in the garage. It's dark. I might just sit down and try and pull up, not every car I've had, but interesting cars I've had, and go through it with yous. But do you know what it is in that list of cars I've had? Fiats and Alfa Romeos. Definitely I've had no Alfa Romeos ever. Never owned one. Fiats, maybe like the odd one, like a Mark 1 Punto. I'm talking when I first started driving in 2006, when the original Puntos were just classed as scrappers, disposables. Got the odd garage find from a customer, or a customer of a friend, or a friend of a customer that I've had, but I don't think I've ever gone out. I've had an opportunity of a Fiat Bravo, quite a nice one, low mileage diesel, and I just said I didn't want it, and asked about and sold it for somebody, one of our customers. Never had one. Never actually, I don't think, never owned and personally used a Fiat or an Alfa Romeo. I just don't feel for them. I love the sound of the V6 Alphas. I like some of the rare ones, like the Fiat Coupes, the 5-cylinders, some of the rare sporting Cinquecentos and Puntos. But the owner one, nah. I like looking at them at shows, they're beautiful looking cars, but they just don't do it for me. I just don't know why. I don't like the way that they're built, the rust. The engines are very unreliable, and I know people say that's part of what they want from a car, like, you know, all that classic, but it's not what I want. And I'm not saying by far some of the cars I've owned aren't perfect, but that's just me. I don't know. So I would never own a vehicle with a Fiat engine in, hence I don't like the Insignias. What Vauxhall used, the Vectras, when they turned to the 1900 CDTIs, I walked away from those as well. The 120s are okay, but don't know, just never could get on with them or relate to them. They just seem to have too many little faults which turn into huge, like, engine failure faults, you know. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there for now. I'll get this down, I'll show you what I've done to it. We'll get on to it, see what kind of horrors that there is involved in changing an air filter. So yeah, just got to on there, play out with the bushes. He's done a good job, actually. I'll show you what he's done later when he's finished. So I'll catch you when I get the air filters and the air filter out, see what state that's in, and we'll change the oil as well. Right, guys, you join us in the Jeep Cherokee. Thought I'd do a midweek vehicle review. I have got quite a few bits coming in this afternoon. There's the Volvo with the tight oil filter housing, which we need to try and remove and replace that. I think the camper van's coming in and something else, but I'll come to that if and when they come in. But for now, like I've mentioned, I'll do the odd review of a vehicle I feel worthy of it, for good or bad reasons. And I think this Jeep Cherokee is the perfect one. It's not all bad, but it's not all good. So we'll start with the interior, which is where I'm sitting right now. In fact, I'll start it up and I'll show you what's what. So I'll restart it up and just show you. I do quite like this idea, how it's got a push button start, which you can decide what way it works. So, for example, you press it, it's off, accessory, run, which is obviously ignition on, and then start. And obviously it all comes up with but it did before. That all comes up as Jeep, and it's got the full digital dash. Sorry guys, I just had to turn around because the sun was interfering with the camera, but there's the Volvo. Well, the Volvo was there. I think you must have pulled it into the garage. That's in the garage. Anyways, I just wanted to show you in here. It is quite nice. I mean, the dash, I've just reset the service light with the scanner, but it's got everything you need. I mean, you name it. Speed warnings, the sat-nav comes up on here. Absolutely everything. Stop-start, unfortunately. Fuel economy, driver assist. I'll get into all this shortly. I'll just leave it back there where the guy had it when I brought it in. First up, I like the steering wheel. Why? Because they're nice, big, clear, easy to use buttons with the Jeep badge. But what I really like is this. Since 1941. Yes, I know that carrying the heritage across, but I'll get to that on the outside later. Now on the inside, it's got everything on here. Climate control, Bluetooth connectivity, you name it, it's got everything, right down to the heated seat controls and everything. Vented seats as well, so it hasn't only got heated seats, it's got ventilated seats. But I hate the fact you've got to go through here to use it, and there's not just a button. I do hate that. But what I will say, I'll just put these on the floor, I really do like the seats. Jeep always do make a lovely, lovely seat with the Jeep embossed into there. Thumbs up to all this. The interior, I really like it. Leather, stitched leather. Up here, you've got all the stitched soft leather. On here, you've got like a little compartment up there. Really, really nice. It's got everything. It's got automatic parking, which basically means the car will park itself. You drive past other cars, you switch that on, and it'll tell you, obviously, put it into drive to use it. And you switch that on, and it tells you there, you drive just past cars, and notice the little vehicles next to it. I don't know if you can see that. See how the old school Jeeps? See them? It'd be so nice if this car did carry on some of that. I know they do on the Wranglers and stuff still, but still would have been nice to see a bit more of it on that. So anyways, it will park itself. obviously parking sensors, you've got your lane assist, you've got your collision assist. I'll get to that on the outside. It's got the proper like collision monitoring, which means it'll have active cruise control, which means you've got a cruise control here, a speed limiter, and you've got your there, so obviously there your adaptive cruise control ready, and you can monitor the distance between it you keep from the vehicle in front, which is fantastic. All of this selective terrain mode, but you've got to remember this ain't no super duper off-roader. It's nothing more than like a RAV4 or something, so you can select sports, snow, mud and sand and all that, but it's just a gimmick. It's not proper. It is four-wheel drive, but don't get too excited about that. You've got your volume control, traction control, stop start, all the climate control, which I do like the fact they've got real buttons. If they've got real buttons for the climate control, would it have, does the heated seats really need to be, and the ventilated seats need to be through there? Couldn't they not have just put some buttons on? I do like this. You can actually adjust the dipped in mirror as well, so you can actually have that, press it and switch that on and off. Why not just have a button here? I don't know, but you can switch that on and off. What gets me is mirror dimmer is what is on and what is off. Does that mean off or on? Who knows? So anyways, that's that. I do like all of them kind of features. Electronic handbrake, this is automatic. It's very kind of, what's the best word, like pulley. It pulls quite a lot, which is a bit disconcerting when you're doing slow speed maneuvers. But yeah, I do like all that digital dash, and I do like all of this kind of idea down here, you know, nice simple big chunky buttons. Of course all just fake, but I do like the door patterns and the cards on them. And again, usual Jeep nonsense is you're looking all over for the fuel filler cap. Where is it? Oh, it's hidden right under there, where you can't see it unless you're on your hands and knees. Typical American stupidity. Down here, electric fold mirrors. This car's got all the gimmicks, but one thing I want to just show you, I've just been doing the service book on it. It looks like a checkbook, very unprofessional looking, tatty service book. But one thing I want to go through, this must be for the American market now, into the servicing. So we'll go through to the first page if I can get me right page. Right, so on here, so it asks every year what model it is. So just in case it decides to be a Renault Clio, we'll have to note that it's a Cherokee. Why? I don't know. And then it asks you, but people haven't done it, for the VIN number. Why? Unless you've got like a proper adapted vehicle that's been turned into a camper van or something. Why? Why do you need to enter the chassis number for on a service book? Just making things so over complicated. I just can't see the point of needing to put a model or a chassis number on it. And no, of course, nobody ever bothers writing on what was done. Stupid box there, service, yes. Oil and filter, yes. Where's fuel filter? Where's cabin filter? Where's air filter? So what I do is I just write it on underneath. So I haven't done it yet. So where it says oil and filter change, I just write an oil, air, fuel, pollen, whatever it's had done, job done. But yeah, just the usual American nonsense there. So we'll turn this off, which is quite nice. It goes to off. Yeah, guys, so that was the inside. We'll just quickly move to the outside. It just doesn't do it for me. It's got that on. I don't know. It's modern looking, but with the Fiat engine and stuff, it wouldn't be for me. It's got all the xenon headlights, headlight washers, little things down here. I like to give those a test. We might do that in a second. But yeah, there's your radar cruise control down there. It's okay, just don't know. Just too much of a soft roader. I know they do all the big new Wranglers and stuff, but they are absolute fortunes. I just thought they would have transferred a little bit more of the retro look to this bigger version. They do that little thing which looks like a postman pad van, which I was really keen on. Don't even know what that's called. Is it a Renegade or something? Not sure. But yeah, it's got everything you would need. Blind spot monitoring, you name it. It's got it, you know. A proper, is that a 3-pin plug down there? Not American, so that's no use in this country whatsoever. That's an American plug. So, pointless. Not even bothered converting it for the British market. Seats, nice enough, plenty of space, not going to deny that. Tow bar on this, reversing camera, self-opening tailgate, nice. but a very high step up. Doesn't cut down very far, and actually a very small boot. Very, very small. Actually closes in so much. So yeah, not ideal at all in there. That's tiny. And then obviously the close boot button, and then it comes down. Yeah, I say twin exhausts. The only thing I will say about it, obviously all these are LED backlights and all the rest of it. The only thing I will say about it, it's the only similarity to my old school Jeep is objects. Like I'm trying to read it because of the reflection. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Just for the American market, to remind them that they're in a car. I don't understand that they need. I know they're like convex mirrors and stuff, but just find it a little bit over the top. Have a quick look under the bonnet. Not much to see. Electric seats and stuff on it, but like I've mentioned, the seats are very nice. Just pity they couldn't have put as much more effort into the car is what they've done there basically. But under here you see all this cheap plastic stuff, how it's actually starting to see, it's coming away on some of them. So there's the bonnet. Jet 2.2 Fiat engine, 100% Fiat, no doubts about it. You can see everything's Fiat just by looking at the. I don't know about the car, don't ask us any questions about who makes the body of the car, probably Jeep, Chrysler, something like that, but, you know, it is what it is, but not for me. Probably pulls like a train, actually. It probably, when they're new, fantastic, you know, the expensive aircon gas. So, yeah, happy days. If you like these kind of things, which, don't get us wrong, if I had a decent engine in it, I may actually be converted, but I don't know if I can quite get away with this front end. But for now, we'll do a little test on these. So obviously the bi-xenons, these you can see these are flickering, but they're not. They're your side light indicators. And down here, these are your main HID dip beams. And the high beams will probably be this. These will go up and down. And then obviously you've got your fog lights. And we'll just give that a try. We'll give it a go and see if they work. There we go. I don't know why, I just find those childlessly amusing, let's just say. But yeah, they are pretty cool. How he obviously cleans all of this area on here. Sorry to cut off quickly there, guys. That Jeep's away for MOT now, so that's me just moving it away. I've shut the bonnet and everything, done the books. The Volvo, anyways, this is in. What this requires is, just turn the radio down, 2 moments. Right, the oil filter housing on this, somebody had been faffing with it and the round off. So we told him last week we didn't want to attempt it because he was desperate for the car. So what we've bought is one of these. It's pretty much dealer spec, actually. It's a really good nick. A new housing. And there's a new oil filter. We did warn them. By the way, guys, we did ring them. So before anybody says, oh, you need to change the filter with the oil. Yes, I know that. I've done that all my life working on cars. But that was that tight. I told them, if it snaps, we're up shit creek. And he needed the car desperately that afternoon and the rest of last week for work. He said, that's fine, guys. You just drain all the oil off. I'm aware that the bit of oil that's in the filter housing will go into the new oil, which he was understanding. So naturally now, when we're changed that filter, it'll be getting topped up with a bit of new oil. And so that'll be in a small smidgen out of like the 5 or 6 litres it took of old oil that didn't get drained off. But he understood that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do on this. Now get that one out, because me and my dad, what we managed to do was use this kind of handheld oil filter removal tool, as well as the ratchet. So he held the one down there, I held the one at the top, and we both turned it kind of matching force, and it went. Like I've said, got the engine piping hot, and did it. And like I've said, we're happy to do it today, because if something was to snap and knack, the guys made provisions to sort that. So yeah, just thought I would show you that. I'm going to bang the new oil filter in, the new housing. Going to put some silicone grease, which is, you know, what we use all the time on the new one, so it doesn't do it again on the seal. And And that'll be that one done, and I don't know what my dad's bringing in later on. I think I've done enough filming for today, so I'll probably include that in tomorrow. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Right, guys, welcome back to a bit of a late Wednesday's vlog. 2 jobs underway. I think the camper van's coming in tomorrow, but I wanted to show you this caddy van. Like I was mentioning, this got locked the keys in because both of the interior, there's obviously a cable from the exterior handle and a cable from the interior handle. So each door has 2 cables, like most cars do, or rods or levers. And what happened was this one had snapped, and this one was all frayed. So I've got me locksmith to sort it. So now they're working perfectly, and the handles are going in exactly how they should be. But I'm giving you this information because if you own a transporter, a caddy around these ages, this isn't a 64, it's a 16. Be very careful, because when they lock themselves, when these handles disable, you're in big trouble. So obviously what had happened was this one had snapped, so it didn't work from the outside, and also this one had snapped as well. But when this one snaps, what happens is you automatically deactivate your locking barrel, because when you lock it and unlock it, naturally you need to be able to open it from the outside. But if these are deactivated and the windows are up on both sides, you can't get in. So that's this done, but I just wanted to show you on the cable just what happens, because this is quite a big issue what's happening with these. They're quite inexpensive from Volkswagen, genuine parts, but what's happening is there's water ingress getting in, if you can see that on both of them, and it frays the cables to the point where they actually snap and fray like that. So if you do own one of these caddy vans, I would highly recommend, if you're having any problem with the exterior door handles, get these ordered direct from Volkswagen, which are your exterior door handle cables, and get them replaced, because you will end off in bother. Got this late car in, which is actually meant for tomorrow, I think. MOT, same as my partner's car, an Astra H design, fantastic, but unfortunately not so fantastic because it's not an estate, so it'll be no use for us. But I must say, as a car, these things are just great, based on exactly the same as these, few tiny little improvements. But yeah, obviously they did these in a 3-door, 5-door estate. They did, I think they were saloon, a van, convertible, coupe. They made these in everything, so it was a car for everybody, whatever your needs were. Unfortunately for us with the dogs, the boots are a lot smaller, but they're still a good size boot if you don't have dogs, obviously, just for general use. They're a more than adequate size boot. But yeah, we've serviced this car for a lot of years. I said design spec, same as Holly's, so I don't really need to go through the spec as such. A nice spec at that, 4 electric windows. This hasn't got cruise control because they normally don't. I fitted that to Holly's. The diesel ones are a doddle to fit, but the petrol ones, for some reason, the 1600 petrol, which this is, are a bit strange. The 1800s, no bother, 2 litres and upwards, but the 1400 and 1600, don't know why, they're a little bit odd. I think it's to do with they don't have the clutch switch or the wiring. But yeah, they're a lovely spec, these, with the stitched doors, half leather. Of course, they all do the same. In audio auxiliary input, just exactly the same, really, is the diesel one. So yeah, this is in for MOT and service. Front tyres are required, so it's getting 2 new front tyres. Back ones are fine, and it's had all the plugs were getting a bit funny enough, just like that Focus, filled with oil, and quite badly burnt out. So it's a good job we're getting them changed. But this guy does a lot of miles in this. So yeah, the basics: air filter, oil and filter, spark plugs. But on these later 1600s, they ran with the oil filter down there, which in my opinion causes, yes, it saves you burning your hands on the exhaust, like the old metal screw-on ones, but I do prefer the old style, because with them ones, they can cause a bit bother being that close to the exhaust. On ones that aren't looked after, this one gets serviced off us regular. Desperate for a set of wipers, so I've got them on order, special fit Bosch ones. As you can see, it's not good, so they're getting done. There we go, the old tax disc, I haven't seen one of them in a while. Must say I do miss those. As a mechanic, I'm going to go on a different point here. I drive multiple cars. Now, it is my responsibility to check that the cars are safe for the road. So if they've got baldy tyres and I get stopped on a test drive, I get done. Insurance, where we've got trade insurance to drive any vehicle, and MOT, generally most cars are in here if they require MOT, so we're driving them to test them. But what we're not covered for is tax. Now, I used to like it when a car came in like this one, for example, 31st of the 8th. If we were into September or October, I would tap the customer and say, your car's not taxed, and they would go, oh, I forgot. And then I wouldn't take it out for a test drive, where now, with the online tax, we don't know. And I did actually have a little word at DVLA when I was sorting out a few issues years and years ago when these tax discs stopped. I said, as a garage, and probably many other trades who have to drive cars, what are we meant to do? Oh, just check it on your phone. I says, look, we don't have time to be putting regs in cars and checking if they're taxed or not. I said, it should just be displayed on a windscreen. And I think even for the owners of the car, it's a good idea, because you come out of your car, especially in the winter, every day, defrosting the windscreen, and it'll catch your eye straight away. If you're seeing like that one, say in August, and you know it's September, you'll be I know you get a reminder letter, but a lot of people forget, and I just genuinely think it is a good thing that's gone away. But you know what the biggest thing was? The state that they got rid of the tax discs to save on paper waste, right? But as you'll all know, when your car's due tax, what do? They send you a full A4 sheet of paper, they pay to post it, it's a full colour A4 sheet of paper reminding you that your tax disc is due. Why not just do away with that, leave the tax discs, and the reminder's already there in your face every day? So I don't see what benefit they got by doing that whatsoever. So yeah, something I just thought I would mention. Next thing I think is coming is paperless MOTs. Definitely, I think in the next 2 years, maybe less, just watch. There'll be no more certificates for your MOT. One time they were a proper stamped copy and all the rest of it. Now they're just a piece of paper, just a form really, and nothing more. So yeah, that's it. This is going away. MOT, service done. The tyres, obviously we have to wait for those wipers now. The van, I've showed you, that's going now. I'm going to take that up. So luckily we'll have a nice kind of, hopefully, easier end of the week. Might get a few jobs done on the Mondeo. I've got a fuel filter there to fit to it. Like I've mentioned, I've saved nearly 13, 15 quid off our supposed trade parts by buying one on eBay. Just shows you how much we're getting ripped off. And while we're on the subject of wipers, instead of specific front wipers for that Mondeo for my suppliers, it's going to be £30. I went onto eBay, got the identical Bosch ones posted for £7. It's just new old stock. Like these Mark III Mondeos now are becoming, rare. They're getting scrapped up by the thousands probably every day. But it just shows you how much now everybody thinks that us in garages that we make loads. I'm not joking, you guys. I've caught our trade parts company, I'm not going to mention names, over this last month charging us more money for a filter than what the dealerships are, honestly speaking. So don't ever think, I'm not going to go into great detail of what we're paying, we don't pay, but we make pennies, by the way, on oil filters, air filters and stuff like that. We don't think for 1 minute if you go to a supplier and say get a filter for £15 that we're getting it for a £5. Not true. The public are getting things cheaper or the same price as us in trade now. The garage trade club and trade prices have well and truly hit the wall. What I will say, dealers like Ford, Nissan and all them, they've noticed they're getting pushed out because nobody was wanting to pay the stupid prices, and there's some amazing deals on genuine parts. Hence you see us quite a lot having genuine parts here, because the dealerships, manufacturers, are actually giving us really good deals, whereas the main part suppliers aren't. They're actually kind of shitting on what, to be quite honest. So I'm going to look into this, especially with a few of the Nissan club, there's the Ford club, there's a Toyota as well. There's a lot of money to be saved using genuine parts, and it's much better for the customers and better for us. So it's better for everyone. So I'm going to leave that there. So there might not be a great deal over the next few days. I'll probably bring the Mondeo, show a few. In fact, I will add the Mondeo in tomorrow, Friday, to show what's being done, because you guys haven't seen it since it looked like a wreck. Parked at my door when I first took it on. It's quite a lot different now, bit muddy and dirty, but it's still a much more better transformed car. So I'll catch you at tomorrow's vlog on Thursday.